Oh yeah, that was a great bite. Right off the corner. Right off the corner. Where it's supposed to be. Bam! That thing crushed it. Oh baby. Hey little one. Oh. That is a good feeling. Pretty much any bait that you just cast and wind, it's just, you know, big or small, interrupts your retrieve and you just get to lay it into them. So that's kind of what we're doing today. The wind's cranking a little bit, so there's a ripple on the water. We're having a little added disturbance, a little added action by putting a belly bladed swim bait on. So I'm just got this 13 fishing swim bait on here, screw locked in. It's like a spinner bait, which I love to fish, but a lot more subtle, which is also good. These fish are approaching post spawn, and a lot of times they're just kind of lethargic. So they can be easily turned off by really dancey stuff. But this is kind of a good blend of both worlds. Just a regular swim bait would work too, but sometimes you'll get more bites just by having a little added attraction because they can simply find it easier. We just came out of a shallow flat, and now we've got kind of a deeper cut. You can see the cattails are almost greener and deeper. This whole thing looks juicy. See how these spread out a little bit? I like being able to weasel through those weeds with this bladed swim bait, and man, do they eat it good. Come on, give me another one like that. There could be a fish in every inch of these cattails. So it really helps to have a buddy. You guys can thoroughly tit for tat each other along the way and make sure you're really covering these, because it's all the same and who knows exactly where they're gonna be. There are a couple sweet spots within the spots, you know. Looks like there could be a bottom change, a different weed kind of coming in there. A little bit of an extension on the bulrushes. Those things like that often hold fish on them too. Those are worth targeting at. But in general, they're just hiding on the outside of these cattails, waiting for something to come by. Boom! You want to have your rod tip in position to set the hook. You don't want to be facing right at these fish. Oh no, that was the wrong time. Good one right there. Oh baby. Oh. Like I said, you want to have your rod tip in position. If I'm facing right at that bait, I'll oftentimes not be in position to set the hook. So I wanted to steer it around, so I changed my angle where I was pointing right at the swim bait, but I knew if I was going to get bit in that situation, I wasn't going to get a good hook set. So as soon as I turned my rod at a 90-degree angle to the line, that's when I got bit, and luckily I was in position to set the hook. Woo. Oh, I love that. Just little roll casts into little pockets like that. Swimbait has just a couple seconds to wag and then you get eaten. See how there's kind of a horseshoe right here? Little pocket, and then there's a little tiny hole in the back of that. I'll cast right in it. That's right where that fish was sitting, right about there. Those are the spots I like to target. Little kind of inconsistencies in just a line of bulrushes. Slow. Keep it close to the weed line as long as you can. Because once you're out of range of those cattails, those fish will just turn right around and get in there. So you need to keep it there as long as possible. Keep your tip up and just go slow. Slow. Let them eat it. Oh yeah, that was a great bite. Right off the corner. Right off the corner. Where it's supposed to be. Come here, sugar. Ooh, thick boy. Right off the corner where it's supposed to be. I skipped it under that dock. Nobody home under the dock, but off to the side, there she was. Sweet. Oh. So one of the real beauties of this technique is when you feel a bite, you can literally feel them chewing on it, and you gotta just give them a second. I feel like you have better hookups if you just wait a little bit. There's one. Okay, there you go. That's such a fun hook set to me. And it's helpful with this technique to just let them eat it a little bit more. And as far as setup goes, this is where I want to use a fast reel. I'm literally close quarters with these fish, fishing in cattails, which if you've ever fished around cattails, you know they can be pretty cumbersome to get out of. They're pretty stiff. A lot of times when fish get wrapped up in them, that's all she wrote. So as soon as I set the hook, I'm pulling on this rod and I'm cranking up line to get them away from those cattails where I can fight them. And I have a 7.4 heavy casting rod, which is fine and dandy. You could do a 7 foot, 7.2, 7.3. I'm a little bit taller guy, so I tend to like longer rods. You know, usually a longer rod helps you with casting distance, but we're not trying to cast real far here. We're trying to make real pinpoint casts and lots of quick casts, short casts, just over and over again so we can cover as much of these little nooks and crannies as we can. I got 40-pound braid on here. 40-pound is just kind of a happy medium for me. Like there's some tactics, I'll bump it up a little bit, maybe a bigger swim bait or frog in 50. 30 is great for casting distance, but a lot of times if you're throwing bigger baits or fishing in heavy cover, you set the hook and it tends to kind of dig into your spool. So I like throwing 30 on a little bit lighter baits and a little bit more open water situations. But this is 40. It's literally my most universal braided line type. I can throw a lot of different stuff on 40-pound braid. Oh, that's a big one. Dude, get out of that tree. That's what I'm talking about. You gotta get them out of this tree. Oh, toad-tastic. Holy, look at that one. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Oh, see me cranking on that reel, trying to get him out of that tree. Whew. We're gonna get away. I wanna keep fishing this point, so I'm gonna pull away a little bit and then talon down. Holy chunk. Okay, so we talon down. Pulled this fish out of that spot. That's a big fat beauty right there. Backed away from the spot so we could fish it again. Oh, Gerthra herself. Bladed swim bait, man. It just tickles their fancy just right. Couple that with cattails in the spring like this, you can catch yourself some really nice bass.